Anxiety means your body is working and that it's simply your body sending you an alarm that you haven't done the thing that you're supposed to do. All right. If any one of you is having an anxiety attack right now, a panic attack, or you're feeling extremely anxious, just know that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you right now, all right? Your body telling you there's something that you're not doing that you know you want to do. You know deep inside, right? Behind your ego, behind my ego, behind the laziness, behind the bad things that's happening to us, behind the fearful jump that we need to do, we have to go through it, and the body is just protecting ourselves. There's nothing wrong with you. Let me start from there. I just finished reading this book. It's called Building a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Deloney. I highly recommend anyone who's going through anxiety or who has high anxiety levels to go read this book. And anxiety is something that every human being faces, all right? It's not like a special thing where like I have anxiety, he has anxiety. Everyone has levels of anxiety, right? But there are people, including myself, where we go through like such high levels of anxiety that like when we're panicking, we aren't able to breathe properly. We aren't able to function properly. And it's something that I go through, I think, more than normal people. I don't know what's the exact percentage, but all I'm saying right now is anxiety means your body is working and that it's simply your body sending you an alarm that you haven't done the thing that you're supposed to do. All right. Now there's two different types of anxiety that I've went through. All right. So for example, like when someone passes away, or you go through a bad breakup or whatever relationship from your friendship, and then you lost this person or whatever it is. That kind of anxiety where I have lost that person, then that anxiety is telling me something like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna be completely honest with my experiences. All right, whenever I go through like a tough time where I lost someone, be it a death or friendship or like whatever it is, they're like I'm done, like I can't be with this person anymore, I think my first instinct through my anxiety is to go to the gym and do something productive, which is good in a sense where my anxiety is telling me like you have to keep moving. But there's something deeper within that ego telling me, now that I've been reading a lot and understanding a lot through podcasts and radio shows, it's like it's actually telling me you need to grieve this properly. And that looks different on everyone, but I think for me personally, I have a lot of sad emotions in me that I don't show. You know, I don't show it on camera right now, but there are certain things in my heart right now that feels very heavy, where I'm still sad about certain things, and I need to have like moments in my day where I'll just be like, okay, let me just sit in it. Doesn't mean I have to cry or anything, but it means when the anxiety levels are up and I'm doing my work, then I have to sit down and actually like talk to myself, right? It's a thing that I told everyone, and I tell you guys, like, there's two versions of you, right? Not two versions, there's two yous in your head, all right? There's the real you, the deep you that's like, this is who I am. And then there's the other side of you, which is your ego, right? Which wants to protect you, be it good or bad. Like the ego always wants it to be comfortable and safe, right? But in life, you always need your yin and your yang, so you need to balance that shit. And for example, when like I said, I lost friends or whoever, the ego part of me is telling me like, go work out, like just increase your value, increase your value, which is a good thing, right? Like I'm working out, I am doing what I need to do in life. It's still part of me as a person. The reality of me that is scared to show up, because my ego is like, nah, don't show them your weakness, don't show them your vulnerability, don't show your sadness or whatever it is. The true me inside actually wants to grieve this properly. All I need to do is just sit down and be like, oh fuck, like she passed away. Like my grandma passed away, and like she was one of the most amazing women now that I think about it. And it's something like I didn't even realize, because she raised like 10 kids. And there's so many cousins that I have because of her. And she was still one of the most wonderful human beings ever. And I just always remember going to my grandma's place and her always be like, have you eaten yet? Have you eaten yet? You know? In Malay, she always say, dah makan, dah makan. And I'm literally like eating in front of her, and she'll be like, dah makan, have you eaten? And that's probably part of her sickness at the time. But just the fact that she raised 10 kids and did that And to see her kids being successful and seeing the people like my aunts, my dad, my uncles be the people that they are, I think it's really a testament as to how amazing of a woman she was when she was alive. It took me a while to finally grieve that. Even though I knew she was old and it wasn't a surprising time, like she was already 90 years old or something, and it wasn't surprising if she passed away, but I didn't actually took the time to grieve the memories, you know? And what I've realized about grief is also like, it's not linear. It's not like, oh, she had like, you went through the funeral and you were sad and that's it. There'll be moments where like, oh shit, now I'm going to my grandma's place and she's not there. Then I have to sit in that grief for a little bit and be like, okay, I miss her. And then there'll be moments where when we say like, oh, let's go to grandma's house, and I realize, oh wait, it's my aunt's house now because my grandma's passed. Just even that routine of saying that is part of the grief. And yeah, so that part of it is a reminder for me, like with my anxiety, to be like, whenever those things happen, like when I say let's go to grandma's house, and then my anxiety kicks in, it's just a moment of, okay, like let your ego down, like it's fine, like just be sad for a little bit. And like I said, I'm not saying once you drop your ego, you're gonna like burst into tears and like cry in the shower naked or whatever. But it's just like, it can be 10 seconds of just accepting it, sitting in it. Someone passed away in your life, you broke up with your person, you got divorced or whatever. Just sit in that grief for like 5 seconds at least. Just breathe in. And let the shoulders drop. Because I wanted to make this video to tell everyone, like, as someone who has a lot of anxiety throughout my days, and someone who has had experiences with panic attacks, which I'm not going to be surprised down the line, like I'm still going to have panic attacks when life goes to shit, you know, like that's just life has its ups and downs. This is more of a video of like, I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling myself, like, there's nothing wrong with you. The body is just giving you an alarm saying that, like, it's sort of like when there's a fire in the house and then the fire alarm kicks in. We distract ourselves with going to the club, to the bar, whatever it is, whatever your distraction is, right? Even if it's reading a book, even if it's going to the gym, if you are like distracting yourself from the real source. For example, if there's a fire in your house and then the fire alarm is going off, all you do is just turn off the fire alarm. That's what a distraction is. But the fire is still there and the house is still going to burn. So whenever we do this, right, and I'm saying this because it's something that I battle with myself every single day. Something as simple as waking up. I wake up with a little bit of anxiety because I live alone. I'm always like, I need to do something not productive but useful in the world. All right. I always feel like if I just scroll through, like, I feel guilty and then the anxiety goes up. So if I wake up and I start scrolling, once I get into the shower, the anxiety stays there. Why? Because that's my body telling me, like, you need to do something useful. Like, that's me. That's personally for me. I think all of us are guilty every single day, and I just hope everyone knows that there's nothing wrong with your body. It starts from there. It starts from recognizing that your body is working well. Your body is working well and it's signaling to you, like, dude, like, stop. You're ignoring the main problem here, right? Like, what are you actually feeling anxious about, right? One thing that I'm feeling anxious about recently is like not getting a full-time job yet. And every single time I tell myself, like, I want to apply for jobs, for some reason, I'm going to let my vulnerability show here. I just don't apply for jobs after that. Like, I just feel like I need to do this podcast. I need to do something else. I need to wash the dishes. And it's always this billion amount of distractions. And then I just don't apply for jobs. It has happened so many times. And instinctually or subconsciously in my brain, it's afraid of change. And change is always scary because you never know what's going to happen with your new job. Even though I have like a normal part-time job right now, I'm looking for something in my industry, but it is scary to, like, once I get that full-time job, it's going to be scary. It's going to be a scary jump, and you never know what the new environment is going to be like. Is it going to be harsh, or is it going to be like, maybe I get a job for 1 month and then I get fired? Like, all these things, there's no other way around, right? Like, I'm here in Australia. The reality is I need to find a job within my industry of my degree to be able to stay here, find a full-time job to be able to save money for my future and all these kind of things. And all those things are scary, man. Like, being an adult after being like a young adult for many years is scary, you know? And I've made it a point to at least apply for one job each day. And that's my journey. And I know there are a lot of people in my life who have found jobs way quicker than me and also apply way more jobs on a daily basis. But this is my journey, and I try my best not to compare my life to anyone. There's nothing wrong with your body. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling like you're going to have a panic attack right now, don't run away from it. Don't go to Instagram. Don't go to Netflix. Don't go to the club. Don't do these things, because it's not going to take out the fire. The fire is still going to be somewhere in your body, and it's going to burn through your life, and you're going to regret afterwards. Just sit in the anxiety for a little bit. When you're feeling that anxiety, right? Just sit down and ask yourself, like, what am I feeling anxious about right now? Okay, if I'm anxious about not having enough money, what can I do? What am I missing? Just sit in that feeling for a little bit and be honest with yourself. And 5 minutes a day can change your whole life, all right? I know it's scary, and it's a muscle, right? These kind of things it's like a muscle where, like, the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. But the first time you do it, it's always scary as hell. It's always scary. That's why I love using the gym as an example, because gym is the easiest thing to do, all right? I go to the gym every day. You know what's the hardest part about going to the gym every day? It's not the exercise. It's about going to the gym. Going to the gym is the harder part than the exercise. The exercise is easy, all right? The exercise is just literally lifting something repeatedly until I get big muscles. Like, that's not complicated. But the essence of lifting something and then going through pain of today and then seeing the results of tomorrow is essentially what all these mental battles that we go through with ourselves is like. The more I battle against myself to fight against my ego to do what I need to do, the more I'm used to it. Even for this video, like, to be honest, guys, I didn't want to record this because I feel like an idiot who's like, who the hell am I to say all these things anyway, right? I was supposed to record this video last Wednesday, and today is Saturday. I just felt like, who am I to speak about all these things? But I've realized I'm just someone who goes through a lot of anxiousness in my heart. And if I'm able to prove my behaviors that I can fight against myself, then I want everyone to be able to do the same thing. And so in the book, there's some like interesting points that John Deloney says, right? So he says, anxiety is not the problem. The problem is that we are unsafe, disconnected, unhealthy, and living like we have no say in what happens next. People internalize their diagnostic labels and say things like, I have high anxiety, and it becomes a fixed characteristic in their hearts and minds. Whereas I've told you guys, and what John Deloney says in the book, anxiety is simply an alarm, and you have to do something about the thing around it. You don't attack the alarm. The alarm is telling you something is there. It's like when we have a headache, what goes through your mind? What's the first thing that goes through your mind when you have a headache? Let's take a Panadol. No, all right? You don't straight away take a Panadol when you have a headache. The first thing to ask yourself is, did I get enough sleep? Did I drink enough water? Did I eat right? Those are the things that causes a headache, right? Am I stressed? So if I'm stressed, then what can I do to let go of this stress? But instead, what do? We simply attack the brain and we're like, no, don't feel it. Like, don't have that headache. But it's just going to come back because whatever that we've not addressed yet, for example, if it's not the right amount of sleep, if it's not the right amount of food, water, if we don't address those issues, then the headache's just going to come back. And that's what anxiety is, right? It's simply an alarm. We are not addressing the issues. And like I said, it might be an issue of like, you haven't done this in your life, or you haven't done and usually it is, right? For the people of my generation, right? Like us, like 20-year-olds, usually we know we have to be productive, we have to do work, and we don't. That's one type of anxiety. So do the work. Like, that's all I can say. Show up with your behavior and stop saying all these things. Stop using your words and just do the work. And then there's the other side of it where like someone passes away or you got broken up with. Then that anxiety is different, where like that anxiety, you have to tell yourself honestly, okay, what am I feeling right now? Am I angry? If you're angry, then scream somewhere. Punch your bed. Do something about it. Do something about your anger. If you're sad, cry. Talk to someone. Whatever it is. Look into yourself and stop letting your ego fight against yourself, all right? And before I go off, I recently rewatched this show called You on Netflix. Spoiler alert, all right? It's basically about this guy who has a traumatic childhood, and he stalks girls basically, and he kills for the ones that he loves. But on the final episode, we find out that the person that was trying to get him to kill more people for the sake of love, that person did not exist. Rather, he was just talking to his own ego. He has this ego of like, kill for the one that you love because they deserve to have a life with you and like to be loved by you and not be distracted by the toxic people around them. Like, if you love someone, right? Like, you love this girl or guy or whatever, and then his ego is telling him like, oh, I know their friends are toxic, oh, their parents are toxic, like I can kill them if I want to, and I'll justify it in the name of love. That's what his ego is. But the true him, the deep inside him, is telling him like, no, this is wrong, like I can't do that, like who am I to take people's lives? And he's always in this battle of like, he wants to destroy in the name of love, and also not destroy anyone or kill anyone because that's not the right thing to do. He's always fighting against himself. But the reality is, through many years, he has killed so many people. He has killed like 2 of his ex-girlfriends. Finally, at that last episode, it's physically showing, all right? I know it's kind of creepy and like insane that we're gonna talk to ourselves, but that's what we do every day anyway, right? So in this show, it gives a physical representation of this guy having his ego in front of him, and they're like fighting against each other, like don't jump off the bridge. But the ego is like, dude, like don't jump off, like I love you, man, like we can still solve this, we can still kill everyone, like we can still be with your loved one, like we can still do this. But the true him is fighting like, no, like I have to jump off because I don't want to be my ego. I don't want to be you anymore. I want to be me. And it just resonates so much with me because I think I've realized there's a lot of things that I have done in the name of my own ego. And it has come nowhere close to the point of like being like the person in the show, but I've ignored a lot of like my true instincts of being a person that is loving, caring, and rather I put on some front of like strong masculine mindset of like I'm a masculine guy. But to be honest, deep inside, I would say I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and sometimes I don't show that, not because I want to prove to people that I'm strong, but it's also me fighting against myself. This is just me talking to, as someone who goes through a lot of anxiety throughout the days, talking to another person who's going through another panic attack. If you're having a panic attack right now, just breathe in. Right? And just know that you're not alone. And it's okay to talk about your feelings to anyone. Don't be scared about judgment. Be who you are and you'll be surprised. Because whenever you become who you are, then you'll start getting the friends, the loved ones, the people who truly, truly, truly care about you. Because if you live in that ego, then you are also going to start getting friends who feed your ego instead of feeding what you need in life. And I've been through that so many times. Stop numbing it. It's enough. It's time. Like, it's time, guys. Like, enough with the Netflix, enough with the scrolling. Stop numbing it. Once in a while, we'll do it a little bit. And to be honest, I still do. But once you do catch yourself in it, all right, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes scrolling, catch yourself and then go back. Okay, what do I have to do? And it's just part of being human, right? So to everyone out there going through your anxieties, I hope you guys have a great day today. Breathe in, breathe out, put your shoulders down, and I'll see you next week. Peace.